Hello and welcome to A Journey to Awareness. Are you ready to take a voyage to the uncharted places within you, where you will be guided to ways to heal your wounds, look at your life choices, release your fears, and take control of your future? Stick with me through these podcasts and you will take the most exciting adventure of your life, the journey to you. Let's go. Hello and welcome. I'm Shauna Hoffman. Did you ever realize how much you learn about yourself, your values, your dreams, your heart when you venture far away from home? Or have you ever escaped your everyday world just for a day in search of a missing piece of yourself, your sanity, or your soul? When I truly look at my growth, my own growth, I realize that I have found more of myself in my world travels than I ever thought was possible. I was really thinking about this podcast and where I wanted to go with it in this new season, and it didn't take me long to discover that I had named this podcast A Journey to Awareness for a reason. It's on so many journeys that I have taken that I've found out who I am and what's important in my life. It's amazing how much you can learn about yourself when you leave behind all that is comfortable and known to you, all the things that defined you, your home, your job, your car, your favorite foods, the clothes you wear, the people that surround you. So I'm hoping you'll indulge me this season as I take you on some of my journeys around the world to share the awareness that I have been blessed with on these amazing sojourns to magnificent places. In my old age, I've been lucky enough to have traveled to 37 countries, met the people, experienced their cultures. I've learned to leave behind my judgments and expectations in order to indulge in this thing I love about travel called the unknown. Travel pushes our limits of what we know as our reality if we let it. And what we learn about ourselves along the way is astounding. Sometimes whether you want those lessons or not, but hey, ain't that life anyway? So my first adventure I want to take you on is the one I took when I hiked the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu for my 50th birthday. I had this amazing friend, soul sister named Joni, who had been the one to open my eyes to all things spiritual and metaphysical. One by one, she handed me books to spark my thinking and open my soul. We used to sit for hours and dream of where we wanted to go in life. The one spiritual place that kept calling our name was the Inca Trail hike to Machu Picchu in Peru. If you don't know the story of this magical place, it was a trail that the Inca Tribe created out of granite to carry all the materials to build their temple city, Machu Picchu, all the way back in the 1400s. It's been hidden to most of the outside world until it was discovered in 1911. If you do any research into spiritual places around the planet, you'll read that Machu Picchu is considered one of the most spiritually aligning places to travel to. They say it opens and resonates all of the chakras. They even believe it stimulates the immune system and brings the body into balance. To the Incas, all of the environment is sacred. Pachamama, which they call Mother Earth, has always cared for them, so it was their responsibility to care for her. Machu Picchu is listed as one of the new 7 wonders of the modern world. Well, what a better place to go to on the Big 50 than Peru to climb the Inca steps and visit this spectacular place and reach into my soul on an amazing journey. I wanted a mind-body-soul experience, and boy, did I get it. Actually, the idea for this particular trip came from a friend of ours. I call her Doc Lisa. She called out of the blue and said, "You want to go hike the Inca Trail?" I had no idea what I wanted to do for the Big 50, and just like that, it was decided. How she knew that was on my spiritual bucket list, I'll never know. But obviously the universe knew, and we were off. Lisa, who really is a doctor, brought her 17-year-old nephew along. Lisa's a big hiker and a mountain climber. She was ready for this trek. It was going to be a 4-day hike where we carried all of our own packs. We had hired this great company, appropriately called Pachamama, to do this as a private tour for us. We didn't want to be hiking with 20 people and be at the behest of their pace. So birthday splurge it was, private guide, private Sherpas, and private chefs. 6 of them and 4 of us. Though Lisa was ready for a high altitude mountain hike, my hubby Bert and me, not so much. In our brilliance, we thought we trained for it here in California. We lived at about 1,000 feet. The Inca Trail takes you up to 14,000 feet. Yep, we're talking altitude sickness. And on one day alone, you hike from 10,000 feet to 14,000 feet. And these are steps, not hiking on a trail, unless you're lucky enough to jump on the side of a llama path, which comes along once in a while. Oh, and these steps are unbelievably uneven, and they're made of granite. So let me break that down for you, and you'll see how unprepared we were. A step is usually 1.5 feet. That means in that one day, we walked up 2,700 stairs. Oh, Lord. Now let's break it down even more. 10 steps is a flight of stairs. In that one day, it was as if we had walked up 270 flights of stairs. Seriously, we were so unprepared. And again, in the altitude that our bodies were so not ready for. Then this happened. On our first night on the trail, Lisa's 17-year-old nephew got pulmonary edema, fluid in the lungs from the altitude. We had thought for sure he was the one who's going to fly through this hike, young and strong, but it was the opposite. In order to make sure he didn't get worse, Doc Lisa and her nephew had to go back down the mountain. Their hike was over. Oh, we were all so sad. We had planned this for months, but I gotta tell you, traveling with a doctor as a friend can surely save a life. And the good news is they met us at the end of the trip at Machu Picchu after their own 3-day journey to awareness. Now it was 6 of the Pachamama team and just me and Bert. If I wasn't so totally exhausted at the end of the day, I could have appreciated the spoiling. They even brought a birthday cake for me all the way up the mountain. But I wanted a mind-body-soul experience, and I got it. How the hell was I going to keep going when my 50-year-old body was aching and exhausted? The answer? Mind over body. There's a great quote that says it all. Your body can stand almost anything. It's your mind that you have to convince. So it became a mind game I played with myself. For those of you who hike mountains, you know that you come to these curves ahead of you, switchbacks, where you're sure you're at the top of the mountain. Then you get there, round the bend, feeling victorious, only to see that the climb actually goes on, higher and higher. So the next piece of advice I gave myself is what I preach and preach and preach on my podcasts and to my clients. Stay in the moment. I realized that I could not look ahead of me with expectations. I had to stay in the moment, one step at a time. After all, that was what I was there for. But how the hell was I to do that when all I saw was more stairs and more stairs and more stairs? Mind over body, mind over body, mind over body. I had to occupy my mind with thoughts that had nothing to do with the exhaustion I felt. I had to see the beauty all around me. After all, that was why I was there. In therapy, we call this stop thought. You stop the negative or scary thought and you replace it with a better thought. I had an idea. I started to name every step that I took for someone I knew. I pictured them in my mind. I started with the people I loved. Well, as we climbed higher and higher, and those switchbacks came one after the other, the list turned into every person I had known since childhood. But there was something so spiritual about that. It was like every person I knew was on that trail with me, walking my journey by my side. And my walking stick. I had bought this beautiful blue carved wood walking stick in one of the villages before we started. That walking stick became another limb to me. It was beautiful and strong, and I was grateful for it every step of the way. And for every step I took, I looked at all that magnificence surrounding me. Then I tried to take a deep breath as I thought about all of the Inca who traveled this path hundreds of years ago. And I thought of each friend or family member that was now on that trail by my side. Breathe, Shauna. Breathe. Okay, well, that wasn't easy. We know that breath is one way we connect to our bodies. We breathe through pain or sadness or anxiety. We take nice big sighs when we're happy and content. Now here I was, trying to breathe when my oxygen was getting less and less in the altitude and my head was swimming. And when you can't breathe deeply, you tend to breathe shallower or you hold your breath. Well, none of that was going to work because I had miles yet to go and breath was the only way to get there. Suddenly, my journey to self became about breath and life. I love this quote by, I'm going to massacre his name, Thich Nhat Hanh. It describes my lesson on the trail perfectly. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile, dwelling in the present moment, the only moment. And then all of a sudden this happened. We were at a beautiful valley when our guide said, look all the way up that mountain peak. That's where we're going. It's called Dead Woman's Pass. Seriously? I mean, seriously? I swear I looked at him with my mouth agape, wondering how many people have died trying to get there. But he just laughed. Dead Woman's Pass was named because when seen from the valley below where we were, its crests resemble the form of a woman's body lying down and facing up to the sky. Okay, well, that made me feel a little bit better. Then I looked even closer to the peaks and I saw a deer standing there, silhouetted by the sun. Our guide saw it too. He was shocked. He said deer are so rare on these mountains. And all of a sudden, I got tears in my eyes. Joni. What I didn't share earlier is that my friend Joni, who was my spiritual partner on my soul-searching journey, who had dreamt of hiking this trail one day, had left this earth 10 years earlier. She never made it here, or so I thought. With all of my being, I knew that deer was a sign from Joni. You see, my nickname for her was Doe Eyes. She had the biggest brown eyes. She always looked like a beautiful deer, and her yard was filled with delicate deer sculptures. Doe Eyes. Mind, body, spirit. Here was the beginning of the soul part of my journey. It was like Joni was standing up on that pass telling me I can do it, believing in me, and more than that, calling me up the mountain to finally share our dream of hiking the Inca Trail together. All of a sudden, I felt like I could fly up those steps, mind, body, soul. I was going to meet Joni on Dead Woman's Pass. How appropriate. There are so many parts of this journey to self I could share with you. Waking up on the last morning in time to see the sunrise over Machu Picchu took my breath away. To share it with my husband was a memory that's bonded us forever. To have seen and felt Joni on that trail broke away all the questions of the here and the after for me and gave me so much peace. The struggle to overcome so much physical stress from exhaustion to not be able to breathe only helped me to learn that truly my mind can overcome my body if I try. And the unbelievable satisfaction of achieving what at moments I felt truly unachievable reminds me that whenever I think I can't do something, I actually can. Doc Lisa and her nephew met us up in Machu Picchu. They had gone back to stay in another mystical village, Urubamba, which sits in what's known as the Sacred Valley. And once again, we shared this dream. Then we stayed overnight in a town outside of Machu Picchu called Aguas Calientes. Doc Lisa had arranged for me to have a massage before we got there. She knew I would need it. Always a healer, that woman. Once again, I had the most spiritual moment as the Inca music was playing and the massage therapist soothed my muscles. I swore for a moment I left my body. Maybe it was the exhaustion finally being healed. Or maybe, as the Incas say, my chakras were opened and being aligned. Whatever it was, I'll never really know, but I can still feel it in my soul today. My own journey to my journey to awareness. Machu Picchu itself was more than I could ever imagine. It's mystical and magical and filled with the stories of a culture now gone. To get there on the same steps that the Incas took gave me a feeling of one with a people I would never have known if I didn't literally walk in their footsteps. And my beautiful blue carved walking stick is mounted with pride above my window at home. Whenever I wonder if I can achieve something or not, I just look up at that beautiful stick and I know the answer. Of course I can. This quote says it all. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you ever have the chance to see Machu Picchu, whether by the Inca Trail or by the new train that now takes visitors there, do it. And say hi to Doe Eyes for me while you're there. So to my podcast family, thank you for traveling on this journey with me. I hope you come back and listen to more of my journeys on my own journey to self-awareness this season. And please share this episode with anyone you feel would enjoy it. Now, be good to yourself, drink lots of water, eat nourishing foods, challenge yourself to do what you think is impossible. Let your mind and soul and body be one, and venture out of your known to experience the unknown. Thank you for letting me into your life this week, and I look forward to popping back in again next time. Thank you for joining me today on the Journey to Awareness podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast inspired, fired up, and ready to take that next step on the magical journey of self-awareness. And then you come back and join us again. Oh, and if you can do me a quick favor and please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. I gain so much from reading the reviews and getting feedback from my listeners. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me on my Facebook page, Working on Me, and on my website, workingonme.com, for past episodes and insight into the fabulous journey to you.